Hello everyone, and welcome back to our YouTube channel, Labor Laws Official. In today's video, we will be discussing an important topic that affects the working population of Sindh, Pakistan. We'll dive deep into the Sindh Minimum Wage Act 2015 and explore its key provisions and implications. So, let's get started. Introduction to the Sindh Minimum Wage Act 2015. The Sindh Minimum Wage Act 2015 is a key piece of legislation enacted by the provincial government of Sindh, Pakistan. It is aimed at establishing a framework for fair wages and safeguarding the rights of workers across various industries in the province. Consultations and deliberations. The formulation of the Act involved extensive consultations with various stakeholders, including workers' unions, employers' associations, and labor rights advocates. The aim was to develop legislation that would strike a balance between workers' interests and the economic sustainability of businesses. Enactment and implementation. After rigorous deliberation, the Sindh Minimum Wage Act was enacted in 2015. This marked a significant milestone in the labor laws of Sindh, as it sought to address wage disparities, protect workers' rights, and contribute to a more equitable society. Understanding the Sindh Minimum Wage Act. Now let's take a closer look at some of the key provisions of the Sindh Minimum Wage Act. 1. Minimum wage rates. The Act outlines specific minimum wage rates for different categories of workers, such as skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled labor. These rates are periodically revised and adjusted by the government to keep up with inflation and the cost of living. 2. Wage payment. Under the Act, employers are required to pay their workers at least the minimum wage rate applicable to their category. Payments must be made in legal tender, either in cash or through direct bank transfers. 3. Working hours. The Act also sets limits on working hours to prevent exploitation and ensure a healthy work-life balance. It specifies the maximum number of hours an employee can work in a week and mandates overtime payment for additional hours worked. 4. Enforcement and penalties. To ensure compliance, the Act establishes mechanisms for enforcement and penalties. It empowers labor inspectors to conduct inspections and take necessary action against employers who violate the minimum wage provisions. Penalties may include fines and other legal consequences. Now we will explore the consequences employers may face if they fail to comply with the provisions of this Act. Penalties for violation of Sindh Minimum Wage Act 2015. Now let's take a closer look at the penalties associated with violating the Sindh Minimum Wage Act 2015. 1. Monetary penalties. The Act imposes monetary penalties on employers who fail to comply with the prescribed minimum wage rates. These penalties are intended to discourage employers from underpaying their workers or neglecting their obligations under the Act. 2. Legal consequences. Violation of the Sindh Minimum Wage Act can lead to legal consequences for the employer. This may involve facing lawsuits or legal proceedings initiated by the affected workers or relevant labor authorities. Legal action serves as a means of ensuring accountability and seeking redress for the workers affected by the violation. 3. Suspension of business operations. In some cases of severe or repeated violations, the authorities may have the power to suspend or revoke the business license or permit of an employer. This serves as a strong deterrent and emphasizes the seriousness of non-compliance with the minimum wage provisions. 4. Blacklisting. Employers found guilty of violating the Act may also face the consequence of being blacklisted. This means their name may be included in a public database or list of non-compliant employers, making it challenging for them to engage in future business activities or procure government contracts. Role of labor inspectors and authorities. Labor inspectors and authorities play a critical role in enforcing the penalties associated with the violation of the Sindh Minimum Wage Act. 1. Inspections and investigations. Labor inspectors are authorized to conduct inspections and investigations to ensure employers' compliance with the minimum wage provisions. They have the power to collect evidence, interview workers, and review employment records. 2. Reporting violations. Labor inspectors can report violations to the relevant labor authorities, providing the necessary information and evidence to initiate legal action or impose penalties on non-compliant employers. How to file a complaint against employer for violation of Sindh Minimum Wage Act 2015. This step-by-step guide will help ensure that workers understand their rights and have the necessary information to seek redress in case of non-compliance. Let's get started. 1. Understanding your rights as a worker. Before filing a complaint, it's important to understand your rights as a worker under the Sindh Minimum Wage Act 2015. Familiarize yourself with the provisions of the Act, including the prescribed minimum wage rates, working hours, and wage payment requirements. 2. Gathering evidence. The first step in filing a complaint is to gather evidence that demonstrates the violation of the Sindh Minimum Wage Act by your employer. This evidence will strengthen your case and support your claims. 3. Keep records. Maintain accurate records of your employment, including pay stubs, time cards, employment contracts, and any other relevant documents that show your work hours and wages. 4. Gather witnesses. If possible, identify co-workers who can support your claims by providing witness statements or testifying on your behalf. Their testimonies can provide additional credibility to your complaint. Contacting labor authorities. Once you have gathered sufficient evidence, it's time to contact the relevant labor authorities to file your complaint. 1. Identify the labor authority. Determine the appropriate labor authority responsible for handling complaints related to minimum wage violations. In Sindh, this authority is often the Sindh Labor Department or the Labor Inspectorate. 2. Visit or contact the labor authority. Visit the office of the labor authority or contact them via phone, email, or their designated online portal. Inquire about the specific procedure for filing a complaint regarding a violation of the Sindh Minimum Wage Act. Filing the complaint. Now, let's walk through the process of filing a complaint against your employer. 1. Provide detailed information. When filing the complaint, provide the labor authority with detailed information regarding the violation, including dates, times, specific incidents, and any supporting evidence you have gathered. 2. Complete complaint form. In some cases, the labor authority may require you to complete a complaint form. Fill out the form accurately, providing all necessary details and supporting documents. 3. Keep copies. Make copies of all documents you submit to the labor authority, including the complaint form and supporting evidence. Retain these copies for your records. Follow-up and cooperation. After filing the complaint, it's important to follow up and cooperate with the labor authority throughout the investigation process. Maintain communication. Stay in touch with the labor authority to inquire about the progress of your complaint. Provide any additional information or cooperation they may require. 2. Be available for interviews. If requested, be prepared to attend interviews or hearings related to your complaint. Cooperate fully with the labor authority's investigation. Seeking legal assistance. If you encounter difficulties or require further guidance during the complaint process, it may be advisable to seek legal assistance from a labor lawyer or a relevant workers' rights organization. That's all for today's video. We hope you found this exploration of the Sindh Minimum Wage Act insightful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and we'll be happy to engage with you. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel Labor Laws Official for more informative content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.